Hey folks, welcome to Western Wayne County Conservation Association. My name is Aaron Carnes and I'm the director of the social media here at the club. I am an avid archer and I've been a deer hunter for the better part of about 15 years. But one thing I don't do a lot of is shoot my handgun. And that's why I've joined Paul Baird here at the club today, who's going to walk me through the process of falling plates. Paul, could you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah, hello, Aaron. I'm Paul Baird. I'm a discipline leader, chairman at this club, Wayne County Conservation Club, WWCCA. Bill Shope is co-chair along with many other core team that we have here. Bill and I go back many, many years and started this program in the latest phase. Today we're shooting the Falling Plates event. We hold 3 events a year, or 3 types of events each year, which is Falling Plates, Pins, and Steel Challenge. And we have 12 events every other week from April to September. Today, like I said, we Falling Plates. The programs are made or structured for people like you that have never shot these before, and we'll walk you through the program. Al at registration takes control there. Bill's on the line, walk you through each of the steps of the shooting process.
Awesome, I'm really looking forward to it.
It's going to be a ball.
Awesome.
I guarantee it.
All right, Paul, as someone who's not participated in this event before, I have brought eyes, ears, and the one handgun that I like to shoot. Can you drill down into each of those 3 things and tell me, as a new person, what it is you're looking for and what the different options are?
Well, the good news is shooting one of our events, it really doesn't take a lot other than the obvious. So let's talk about each. From a safety standpoint, the eyeglasses. As long as you have good eyeglasses, you've got wraparound, which is even better. If you have normal street glasses, we'll accept those too. They'll work. There's amber, there's different colors. For what we shoot, most people run the clear and don't run any of the colored lenses. Shotgunners might, for example, want the amber, but we don't typically use it.
Okay.
The earmuffs. Earmuffs are good. We also have some people that use plugs, the foam plugs, and others also use the molded in ear plug. The muffs are general. You could use it with everything, and basically as I'll say first time shooter, whatever you got in that department is perfect. That's really don't need any more than that.
Now, these are electronic. Is that a good idea?
Electronic actually is pretty good because what happens is that during the shooting, if you have a question, or the electronic will allow you to hear the conversation and attenuate the bullet sounds, which is the damaging element of the sound that we're trying to get rid of.
So if you got it, that's ideal.
It's ideal as electronic.
Okay, excellent.
I would call that the high end. You could get away with foam. I don't think foam, if they're positioned well, I think they work just as well. They're a little harder to position, but I think a muff, and you can get them for under $20 easily.
Okay.
So it's not a showstopper by any means.
Well, I didn't mention this, but it's pretty important in shooting. Ammo. I only brought 100 rounds of 9mm.
Well, perfect.
Is that going to be enough?
Perfect. For this event, you'll need 48 rounds.
Oh, good.
So you get to shoot 2 stages.
Awesome.
We shoot 6 plates at 10 yards, 15 yards, 20, and 25. And we shoot them twice at each of those stages. So if you add that up, that's 48 rounds, and it's designed for 1 box for this event. So you'll be fine with that. What caliber is that? Is that
So
the 9mm?
Yep, it's a 9mm. It's a Glock 19. Had it for years, but again, I just don't really shoot it unless it's time to renew my CPL.
Yep. Good point on the CPL. Anybody that has a CPL needs practice. And way back when, I wasn't even a pistol shooter, but I was a CPL holder and felt guilty. One thing led to the other, and now I shoot way more pistol because I felt that I needed to practice. And then the more I shot, the more I understood that the practice was warranted. So these events will definitely help out in that arena, help with the CPLs.
Well, good deal. So what kind of handguns do people typically participate in the event with? Is 9mm pretty typical?
From a caliber side, we get 22s, rimfire. We get 9mm, that's probably 80 to 90%. We'll get the 357 Supers. We used to get a few 40s, not too many anymore, but the 9 and the 22 is predominant. We'll get some 38 specials for the revolver guys, so you get 6 rounds into there. Great dresser drawer gun and dual purpose for this type of event if you have one of those.
All right, now this might be a silly question. What about magazine capacity? Does that matter at all?
It's actually a good question. For all of our events, to shoot our events, 10 rounds in a mag max is our limit.
Okay.
So if you have a 17 round max, you'll only load up to 10 depending on the event. On this event, you'll only be loading 6 rounds per.
That's good to know. I don't want to get in trouble.
Nope.
Okay, so 6 rounds only
rounds
in this Falling Plates
mag
event.
for this event.
Okay, perfect.
The other 2 events, you load up to 10.
All right, awesome. I appreciate all the information. That makes this much more approachable for me today.
Yeah. And then the last thing is from, again, tied to safety, is that the gun is always closed in the safe form until you're on the line. And we do that for purposes because we get some people that don't have a lot of skill sets in the guns and we don't know what's coming into the range. So when we open it up on the line, it's pointed in a safe direction.
Understood. So I do have a CPL, but you wouldn't want me to bring it in carried. You want it safe in a case.
Prefer it into a case, or we call a rug, a cloth fabric zip rug. A lot of people use those because they're easy to stash in a bigger bag.
Gotcha.
These work excellent. We see these all the time.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
let's go ahead and get into the range, and you can
All
show
right.
me how to sign
Yeah,
up.
let's go have some fun.
Awesome.
Alrighty. All right, Aaron, over here we've got registration, and Al is our master registrar.
Nice to meet you, Al.
Morning, nice to meet you.
On the card, there's an upper section, and when you fill it out at registration, you're going to be putting your name here, your club affiliation. The card is already center fire, but the sight category, whether it's an iron sight as with Aaron's got, or a dot sight. The email address is important if you want to see your scores. We publish the scores by email, or alternatively, we've got a handgun bulletin board in the clubhouse, and we post them there. But if you want immediate results, the email will provide that. We'll also send out reminders for each event and the scores for each event all summer long if you provide us the email address.
Okay. The next step here is now that you filled out the card, you'll go give it to Al. Al will.
There you go, Al. How much do I?
$9.
All right, Aaron, the pricing that we have here for courses of fire, the first course of fire is $9, the second is $9, and then when we go to third, we give you a discount. It's $22, and if you shoot 4 courses of fire, it'll be $26 as we show on the sign. Anything more than 6, it's $7 per course of fire. This gives you a discount to get in if you shoot more, and it allows the person, depending on the time and how long they can be here, and economically, we give them benefit if you shoot more courses.
So the more I shoot, the more fun I have per dollar.
More fun, bang for the buck.
Sounds good
I
to
think
me.
that goes right with it. You got it. Aaron, one thing to talk about here is if your gun jams on the line, or let's say you need to adjust the sights in between stages, we have a safe area, and the safe area is just that, is so that you're able to get the gun out and either adjust the sights, work out the jam, that kind of thing. And I'll take you back into here to show you what it is. It's pretty basic. You got a cement wall. That's what it is.
Real quick question. As someone who hasn't done a lot of handgun shooting, would someone be able to help me when I'm in there figure out what the issue is?
Definitely. This is something that for our program,
green one
we
you
have
put
a bunch
crack
of
on or
people here.
Yes, it is.
You may not know anybody.
PCC over
now
here.
because you're new to our game, so I would go to either me
And,
or Al on the line, and because you registered with Al, I would say if you have that question, he would be more than happy to tell you who could help you out that's available.
Awesome.
But we have plenty of people that would be able to help.
I think we're set
That is
except
so
the
good to
number.
hear. Well, let's go ahead and check it out.
Let's do that.
You need a little bit already, huh? I heard next week's supposed to be hot.
All right, Aaron, we're in the safe area. In this area over here, we've got a block wall, and where I'm standing now, I'm right-handed. The muzzle is always pointed towards the block wall. In this area, we clear either serious jams or we are adjusting sights. You don't have an adjustable sight with a screwdriver, but you do with what we would call with a drift. It's a driftable type sight. So you could do both here if you have the tools. Somebody here usually has tools if you don't. That's pretty much for this area. This is the only area that you can take the gun out and touch it safely under our rules, other than the range line itself. Any questions?
Sure. So you mentioned serious jam. So what's the difference between a serious jam and a less serious jam?
Well, that's a good question. A lot of the jams are like simple stovepipes, and what those are is you drop the mag, and then what you would do is you'd like to slide it back, as in this case, and then you would then take the empty case that's not fully ejected out of the ejection port and clear the gun. Those we could do on the line. Over here, sometimes we will get a case stuck in the barrel, and if it's really stuck, then we might end up needing a drift rod coming out the front. But if we have to use any extra tools, we basically safely like to move it off the line. If we could do it on the line, that's preferable, but if not, this is a safe area and it's not as disruptive to the timer.
Thanks for sharing that with me. That makes a lot of sense. Are there any other kinds of jams or issues that are common on the range?
The good news is for the most part, they're simple, I'd call them simple jams of stovepipes, and that's either one or two things. It's a gun that wasn't cleaned, or most people don't realize it, ammo. Some guns like some ammo, and they don't like other guns, or other ammo. And my suggestion is if you have a gun and you want to shoot our events, do two things. Go down to a range, make sure it's zeroed in, and while you're doing that, test your ammo. Does it cycle? And will it shoot a group?
All right. All right, Paul. So I brought 9mm target loads. Could you share with me, while I load up these couple magazines, what kind of ammunition others might want to bring and consider?
That's a good question, because there's target loads that's less expensive, and you wouldn't want to be using up all your CPL rounds. It's expensive. It's not the way. If you want to test the gun in the CPL, that's great. But I would recommend a bullet that's a target grade that works in your gun. And there's two things you want to check at the range before you come to one of the events. You want to see if the boot size of your targets is small. And the second thing is, does it cycle your gun? Because if you got control of your groups and you've got good cycling, it's a good candidate to come out here. Now, in center fires, I find the Remington green box of 50 is a good center point for most guns. Not necessarily the perfect for all guns, but at least cycle pretty good group. And the CCI standard or mini mag is a real good starter for the rimfire. The Blazer 9mm is another option for the center fire guns. Those ammo would be a great first choice to try.
Good to know. Thanks for sharing that information.
All right, Aaron. Between stages, I want to just go over the basics here of what you're going to see, so that it's not new when we get onto the line when you actually shoot.
All right,
First
sounds
off, you would need your eyes and the ears, and the bag you wouldn't use. So for now, because this is an intro, we'll leave that in there. But these are made for storing your materials while you're shooting the stage.
Okay.
What'll happen is once the plates are painted and cleared and nobody is behind the shooting line or in front of the shooting line, Al will give the word to you can handle your equipment. At that time, now you can open up the gun, and in fact I'll let you do that.
Okay.
And what you'll do is, you see the way this is opening up, we're going to immediately want to put it into a safe zone.
Okay, good idea.
And what some people do is they know where their gun is, and they open up when it is safe.
Could I even put something on here that always points a certain direction so that I know what way the
barrel
barrel
is
is
shooters,
going?
that's actually really good. That's perfect, because a number of our shooters do that.
Okay.
What I do is I've got a rug that zips. I know where the zipper starts, the muzzle's there.
Okay.
So then the zipper's there and I peel it back. That's a good idea. And the reason we do this is because back there people don't know that it's unloaded, and the perception is it's maybe aiming to our competitor here next to us, and that perception now starts startling people. And we want to make sure it's safe to you and make sure that nobody is startled in the process.
All right, good deal.
So when we say handled equipment, so that means you can get your handgun out. At this point, we pull your mag out, and we would close the case, store it, and what you would be now is ready to shoot. So at this time, you could, if you wanted to, handle the gun, practice your grip, aim at the plates. You could do these kinds of things and while everybody else is getting ready.
Okay.
Any questions?
Yeah, Paul, I do have a question. So with my magazines, would I show up with my magazines already loaded, or is that a no-no? And at what point do I load my magazines?
That's a really good question. We encourage everybody to come on site with all their mags loaded. Some people only have one or two. That's fine. Bring them loaded. And then what will happen is between the stages, we'll let you take the time to load the mags after each shot series string is completed.
All right, and another question I have is, what are we shooting at exactly, and how far is the distance here to the target?
Another good question. What you see is these are portable stands. So what will happen is after we shoot the 2 strings of 6 shots, we'll pick this up, move it back 5 yards. We're on the 10-yard line right now. And we'll be shooting at steel plates. We have 6-inch plates for the 22 rimfire guns, and we have 8-inch plates for the centerfire guns. And
So I'm going to be over here to the right.
if you got
shooting at the
centerfire,
larger
you will
target.
be over to the right. That's
Well,
correct.
that looks a lot easier to hit than that.
It could be. All right, Aaron, speaking of plates, let's go over there and I'll show you how they work.
All right, let's
We
do
have a
it.
moment.
All right, Paul, now that we're downrange, could you tell me a little bit about what we're looking at with these targets here?
Yes, what we see here is the 6-inch plate. There's a large pivot underneath the plate. When the plate is hit, it tips right over. After the series is shot, we have a cable that pulls this lever down, which brings this bar back up to reset all the plates. Over there we've got 8-inch plates, and these 8-inch plates are identical in a mechanical form as the 6. They're just bigger. So you're going to see them go over and hear them more because they're heavier, and the center fire has the power to kick these over.
All right, Paul, as a total newbie to this, I remember you told me I'm only putting 6 rounds in each magazine.
Yes.
And there are 6 targets here.
Yes.
Does that mean I only have 6 chances to knock all 6 of them down?
For this game, you'll only load the 6 as we said and use the 1 mag. The other games, the pin and the steel challenge, will allow you to reload if you're not getting all the targets down. In this particular game, the scoring is comprised of shooting the 6 shots and counting how many plates were hit. The hits are recorded and the time is recorded, and it goes into a calculator that spits out a score. So in this particular case, you would not reload, you would only shoot the 6 rounds. You could shoot the 6 in any sequence because you want to hit a plate, so it doesn't matter the sequence, it's just a matter of is there any left at the end of the 6 rounds.
All right, Paul, you mentioned time as well as part of the score. How exactly does that work?
That's actually a good question. I didn't cover that. Every shooter is assigned a timer, and the timer reacts and starts the watch when the whistle blows. The whistle is blown by our range officer, and that's Bill. Bill will run you through a sequence. He'll say, shooter's ready, timer's ready, stand by, blow the whistle. When he blows the whistle, you start shooting, the timer starts the stopwatch. On the 6th shot, when he hears your 6th shot, the watch stops. That's how we get the full time. The time is recorded for the 10-yard when we start and the hits. So we do that twice for 10 yards.
So in that sequence, what's the first thing I'm going to hear?
You're gonna hear the commands, load and make ready.
Load and make ready.
Then what you're gonna do is shooter's ready, timer's ready, and then we're gonna talk about stand by and then the whistle. And that'll, Bill or one of our range officers will run through that sequence. So all you have to do is listen to the range officer to know what you need to do. The whistle starts your action.
Okay. From the time I hear that first command to the time I fire that 6th shot, how long does that usually take?
It's as long as I just described it pretty much. The cadence a little different from one range officer to the other. Bill's cadence is pretty much like that. And another point to think about is where you're aiming the gun. You can have you've got the gun in your hand, you're ready to shoot, and then we're going to have cones here. You'll be aiming at the cone and coming up only when the whistle blows. So in other words, we're at a standard 45-degree angle come up position.
All right, cool. Well, let's go see what that looks like now.
Okay, will do.
Paul, so here we are at the stand. We've got the steel plates downrange. Could you walk me through basically a dry run from start to finish?
Yes, let's do that. What we'll do is in the program, Bill, our range officer, will say, load and make ready. At that time, you pick up the gun.
Okay.
And for our viewers, it's open, it's safe, so there's no problem from a safe standpoint. And we're just going to do a dry run here, no live fire. So you'll pick up the gun and you'll load it, because the command was load and make ready.
All right, so I'd slap that in here.
Yep. So the mag would be inside. You would close the mag, and while he's finishing the commands, you're now going to get a grip on it, and you're going to be at the at ready position, we call it. So that would be, you could do it at ready back like you're doing, or you could extend it. And that extended is roughly 45 degrees, so you'd be roughly right about there, would be is what we talk about. I said earlier cones, because we move this line from 10, 15, 20, and 25 yards. We can't move cones at the same time. We do this at 45 degrees, which is all the others, but we have cones for the falling plates and the steel challenge, just to remind people where that is. So 45 is really where we're looking at. So you're at that, and I'll be Bill. So I'm going to say shooter, make ready.
Okay.
So you're going to be now go into your make ready, or I mean your at ready position, and then I'm going to say, so the load command was given. I'm going to say shooters ready, timers ready, stand by, and the whistle will blow. So that's the time for you to come up and then take your 6 shots.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. On the 6th shot, the stopwatch would have stopped, and on the whistle blow, it would have started. I, as the timer, would pick up the scorecard. I would write for 10. I would put 6 hits, that's what you got, and the time, right off the stopwatch. And then what we would do is we would shoot a second string at 10 yards, same sequence, and then we would move back 5 yards to the next bear spot, which is back here. Any questions?
No, that was great. Thank you so much for running me through the whole process.
We try to run the program so that you don't have to do as much thinking as you absolute minimum. The range officer back here takes control. Al will guide you at registration, and then between the two, if you just load your mags between rounds, that would be perfect. But if you only have 2 and you forget, you can load them up here. That's not a problem. We see that all the time.
Okay, sounds good.
The command for handle your equipment has been given, so now you can take out your gun and your magazines. And in a safe direction, we'll place it down.
And I did put 6 rounds in each.
6 rounds in each, perfect. And close up the case. We'll put it under here just to give you more room.
Okay.
Back inside. Okay. So what you could do now is you could handle it. Get your grip-on form if you would like. Get familiar with the gun. I'd stand in the center, like right here.
Okay.
And this is the shooting line, so you can stand right in there.
So as close to this as possible, but not in front of it.
Don't want to cross that point right there. And then stand in the center where you're comfortable. And again, go ahead, handle your equipment.
All right.
I haven't been practicing this.
So I want to be at that 45-degree angle, right?
This is going to be your at-ready position, about 45 degrees. So you can now, if you want, what I do is I'll raise and lower it and try to get a feel for, is my grip angle correct, so when I'm up, I'm on sight.
Yep. And I'm, as doing this for the first time, I'm really not worried about speed. I just want to hit the targets.
if you miss the target, the score isn't going to be very good.
Yeah.
You got to hit it first. So that's a good point. Slow down, hit, and prove you can go faster.
Okay. Because if you can't do it slow, then you can't do it fast, right?
Yeah, you can't miss them fast enough.
All right.
That's the rule that we've got. You
Sounds
can't miss
good.
them fast enough.
Shoot up to the line. Load and make ready.
Okay. So now you practice your stance and got it all. You're going to load up. You're going to release the slide, get in the at-ready position.
Timers ready. Shooters ready. Stand by.
Okay, that was good. You got 4 of the 6. And if you want to come here, I'm going to then put down, you've got 4 and 7.18 seconds.
I actually did better than I was expecting to.
So much in there, this is actually more. Right there. Game or
Timers
lower
ready.
sight.
Shooters ready. Stand by.
Reset this.
So I have 0 chance of hitting here, but I'm having fun just shooting.
I would just have fun.
Why not shoot? It's reps, right?
Here's
And I could get lucky.
Make ready. Timers ready. Shooters ready. Stand by.
That was good for a new shooter. It's a tough. The last 2 stages, the 2025, is really I think, if I was to guess, your form is pretty good. I think that the gun is opening up, and this is, I mentioned earlier, it's extremely important to test the gun on a range with a target so you can see what's going on. And the second thing is look for group size with the different ammo brands and look for if it's cycling your gun. This brand is cycling your guns, it's no problem. So when you go onto the range next, check for group sizes at these distances.
Okay.
And if it's bigger than 8 inches, you're going to probably want to move on.
Well, I'll tell you what, I had a blast out here today. It was a lot of fun. It was a great challenge as well, really kind of put my marksmanship to the test. And like I said early on, I don't really shoot my handgun much. And I think this just kind of proves I do need to get out on the range more so that I can be more competent with my firearm if and when a situation arises.
You know, that you bring up, most people, particularly with CPLs, they don't get out to the range more than they really should. And if you got a CPL, you should know the gun, you should know the ammo where it shoots, and be confident that you can shoot at the distances. Now, this is more than a CPL, clearly, but if you have confidence within this envelope, you'll easily be able to handle the close-up distances. So my recommendation is the CPL shooters in particular to have fun while they're practicing.
Well, I really want to thank you for having me out today, and I got to tell you, it makes it much more approachable to know someone here and be able to have someone to kind of walk me through it. I got to tell you, the other shooters were also very welcoming, and it's just a real great atmosphere here between you and the shooters as well.
Great feedback like that, because we try to put on a friendly profile, because new shooters are already nervous and don't know what to do, and we don't need to add to that complexity, so we're very aware of it. So I'm glad you could make it, and hope you'll be back again.
Well, absolutely. Well, why don't you tell the viewers when the next time is that we're having a Falling Plates, what's the frequency with that?
Okay, what we've got is the following plates is once a month from April to September, and then we also shoot pins from April to September. And once in spring we do a steel challenge, and once in fall we do a steel challenge. And then we will have online the calendar for our events. But the next one is 2 weeks from today, August 9th.
All right, come on out to WWCCA. We hope to see you on the range.
And if you have any questions, see Al at registration, or Paul Baird, or Bill Shope, or any of the other core team that we have here, and they'll answer any of the questions that you have.